video is going to cover the last 3 examples of the Unit 5 summative review. So these are on the back side of the review, problems 4, 5, and 6. As you can see here, number 4, you're given the equation. And I think, or at least I'm hoping, that as you look at that equation, you realize, yep, that is linear. So I can go ahead and designate that as linear. Now, you might feel pretty comfortable already saying, hey, you know what, I can graph that. I know it starts at 6. Well, let's go ahead and write that in the table. 0, 6. Again, just looking at that constant right there. And then plotting the point. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, so I've got that point, 0, 6 plotted. Now, the slope is negative 1/3. Okay, that's our slope right there. So we know that we can go down 1 and over 3. Okay, down 1, that's where the negative is coming in, and then over 3, and we can plot our next point. We keep going down 1 over 3, down 1 over 3, and we can now graph this line. Now, I hope it's obvious now that we know that this thing is decreasing. Okay, it's going down from left to right, going downhill from left to right, therefore it is decreasing. Now, to fill in the table, we could just use the graph legitimately and say, all right, but you can see there's going to be some fraction answers here. So we need to think to ourselves and say, you know what, this is linear, and all linear functions are based on either repeated addition or repeated subtraction. In this case, the rate of change is negative 1/3. That means that every time I go down 1 step, which is what we're doing here on the left, I'm going down 1/3 on the right on the outputs. So repeated subtraction in this case because I have a negative 1/3. So what's that give us? Well, 6 minus 1/3. If you take away 1/3 from 6, you're still just under 6 because it's 5 2/3. Take away another third, I'm at 5 1/3. Take away another third, I'm back down to 5. And you can verify that because if you count on your graph, 1, 2, 3, up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it is a legitimate point on a graph. Now, how do you go backwards? Think about it. We started in the middle here, so how do I step back? Well, remember, if you were subtracting to go forwards, you'll be adding to go backwards. So I'd be adding 1/3 every one of these steps to go backwards in the pattern. So to add 1/3, maybe not as scary as subtraction, because you have 6. If you add 1/3 to that, you have 6 1/3. Add an additional 1/3 to that, you have 6 2/3. And finally, add 1 more 1/3, and you get negative 3/7. And if we count on a graph, 1, 2, 3, up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, it was a point on a graph, so it kind of makes us feel better. So we've got our table filled in, we've got our graph drawn, and we've designated this as linear and decreasing. Hopefully feeling pretty good about that one. The linear ones aren't too scary. Number 5 on the back side. Now we've been given a graph, and it's easy to see that this again is a linear function. It's got a starting value down here at 0, -2. I can go ahead and fill that in. They also gave me that 0.40, which is not on our table, but it's going to be important. But we can tell this is going to be linear, and it is going uphill from left to right, so it is increasing. Alrighty, now to fill out our table and write our equation, we know it's got a starting value at -2, but what we don't know is the slope. So we need to pick 2 points. Let's use the 2 they gave us. And you always go from left to right. So you ask yourself, if this grid were like city streets and I can't cut like the line does, and I had to follow the streets, I would be going up 2 and to the right, what? 4? Well, that'd make a slope of 2/4. Now, I hope that you guys are comfortable simplifying that to 1/2. That means I'm going up 1 over 2, up 1 over 2. All right, so if we've got a slope of 1/2, that means as I go down the table, this is a linear function. It's about repeated addition of that rate of change, which is 1/2. Now, another way to do this would be to go ahead and write the function. You could do it this way. You could say, I know that I have y equals, the slope is 1/2. That always goes in front of x, and I know I have a starting value down there at -2, right? We have that starting value right there, -2. So that would be my function. And what you could do is plug 1 in for that x. Come back and put 2 in for that x. Take 3, put it in for that x. Okay, you could do that. What I'm trying to state is, if you understand that linear functions are based on repeated addition subtraction, it makes it just a little bit easier, in my opinion. So in this case, adding 1/2. Remember, here we are in a number line. We're at -2. here's negative 1. If I add 1/2, I'm going that way. All right, so where am I going to end up with? Between negative 1 and negative 2, which is negative 1 1/2. If I add another half, I'm at negative 1. Does that make sense to everybody? Now, if I add another half, I'm at negative 1/2. Again, taking those leapfrogs of a half at a time. Now, if I were adding 1/2 going down, in order to go backwards, I would subtract 1/2. So I'm going to repeatedly subtract 1/2. Negative 2 minus 1/2 is negative 2 1/2. Negative 2 1/2 minus 1/2 is negative 3. And negative 3 minus 1/2 is negative 3 1/2. Now, let's check to make sure that some of these points like negative 2, negative 3, was that on the graph? Negative 2, 1, 2, down 3. Yep, it was on there. How about this 2, negative 1? Was that on the graph? Over 2, down 1. Yep, that was on the graph. So our table is filled in correctly. We've written our function right here. We've got that done. And we've designated linear and increasing. So we were successful on this particular problem. All right, one more problem, number 6. Again, I think you can tell just by looking, this thing has got a curve to it, so it's going to be exponential. And since it is going up from left to right, it is increasing. So we've got that decided. Now let's fill in what they've told us. They've told us we have the point 0, 2 and the point 1, 6. Alrighty, now this thing's increasing and it's exponential. That means I'm multiplying by something bigger than 1. And I think it's pretty obvious here. I'm multiplying by 3. So we can fill in the rest of this table pretty easily by continuing to multiply by 3. So 6 times 3 is 18, and 3 times 18 is 54. Now, how do you go backwards? If you were multiplying by 3 going forwards, we're going to divide by 3 to go backwards, okay? So, dividing by 3. So, 2 divided by 3, well, that's 2/3. Now remember, dividing by 3 is the same as multiplying by 1/3. So if it helps, think about it as 2 times 1/3 was 2/3. You with me? Now, divide that by 3 or multiply by 1/3. Remember, 2/3 times 1/3, I'd be taking 2 times 1 and 3 times 3. So I'd get 2/9. No decimals. 2/9 times 1/3 is 2/27. And that would be what I expect to see up there. This table, not too difficult, but it does get a little hard when you go backwards in some of those earlier values. Now to write the function, y equals, what was our starting value? They gave us right here, they told us that was at 2. What were we multiplying by as we were going down the table right here? We were multiplying by 3, and that's always going to have a power of x on it. So we have given the graph, we were able to fill in the table and designate the function. Again, you're going to give it on the test. We're going to give you one of the 3 and ask you to find the other 3. Take your time, do your best on this review, and you should be ready to go for the test.